Recording in progress. We'll start this morning with the Pledge of Allegiance. Stand.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
So good morning. Before I turn over to Jerry, just a quick announcement. Dave called me yesterday and said that the dictionaries came in. Phil, did you see the email? There's no program set up in 2 weeks when
I'm working on it. He's working on it. He's already talked to me. If Dr. Kilbright can make it, Dr. Kilbright is the speaker. Whenever Dr. Kilbright can make it, he'll be the speaker that week.
Okay. So we'll be doing the dictionaries not next week, but either the week after or the week after that. Office, if they don't mind putting up the dictionary until then. So moving on that. And Jerry, turn it over to you.
Good morning. I have a couple of happy bucks. In time, actually early. No fines there, but I'm just happy to be around. I go get my annual checkup today, so I may not be so happy tomorrow. Let's see. I had a real funny. I'll put in an extra dollar in. One of my uncles passed away last week. Went to lunch, and my wonderful aunt, who can barely see, I went up and I said, "Well, I'm going to the farm, and I'll see you later." And she said, "You put on a lot of weight, haven't you?" And I said, "Well, Andy, yeah, I did put on quite a bit of weight, but I've taken a bunch off, but yeah, I did." Oh, get in. That's right. That's right. So you've been fooling everybody with your eyesight, I guess. Hey, bucks this morning before we get.
I am happy going on vacation as soon as I leave here. I've got a great pharmacist who's going to meet me a little early because I've got to pick up my prescription. Once I can buy a ticket.
Once you can buy a ticket. Okay, very good. So where are you going?
Florida, there's a bike MS event Saturday, Sunday. Jacksonville down to Daytona, and then Daytona back to Jacksonville. Those of you don't know.
You ride a bike?
Yes, evidently. Daytona is probably the most, with love, redneck city I've ever been in my whole life. If you're not in NASCAR, you don't. We tried to get a pop in there a few years ago, like, you might have to get it. To see son and wife going. They have a good farm, going to meet the little early.
Okay, I've got some.
All right.
Anthony, I've been here for a while. Old Newsboys Day is starting up again November 18th. So thanks, Warner, and I won't be here next week, but hopefully following week I have another finance meeting. November 18th, Thursday before Thanksgiving.
Cool. All right.
And that
Welcome back.
the weekend before is got with food. Like got 4 people that isn't available. Weekend after the 20th. That's right. Sorry, Sunday after. Strohmeyer, myself. Well, yeah, scouting for food. So anyway, but there was 4 of us. Right. Anyway, I talked to the lady running it, and she's got the Overland Explorer post working with us. So we'll have more help. They definitely want us.
Okay.
Come early and stay as late as you can.
You're pretty good at that.
We used to do it.
Anybody else? One for whatever.
But my sister was able to come home from the hospital. She was fully vaccinated, had COVID, and she's been back. But she's
say it too, actually.
Okay.
My son this morning is at Vaughn, Big Vaughn, having his foot injury, which means that that's what he calls it, a bookend, and that means that they're obviously not going to give him any chemotherapy. He has to have some time. Blood out storm. But the other interesting thing, I was just telling Bill, yesterday he had 7 inoculation shots. 4 in one arm and 3 in another. And the reason for that is with the new bone marrow, all of his childhood immunizations had to be redone. So he's going, I said, how many more do you have left? He said, I really don't know. But really immunizing the cat. In addition to the COVID, he's already had. Really doing well.
Yeah.
Leaving this evening for pheasant hunting trip to South Dakota.
Somebody went up there to the one in the
Yeah, don't tell me that.
No, I didn't.
It's about the camaraderie.
That's right.
After hour.
The reports I read said it's about the same as last year. So they had a good nesting season, but then the drought hurt, so it kind of upset.
I read an article yesterday that Louisiana is now going to require non-toxic shots for dove hunting as well as duck hunting. So I don't know if South Dakota needs steel shot for that yet.
Only if you're in a wetland area.
Okay.
You don't think
Doctor doesn't work out.
well, no, it doesn't to go in your pouch, but it does because there are many other features in the system. So, any other happy bucks? Everybody have a pin on and ready to rock and roll this morning? Here we go.
Caroline, it's all yours.
Hi, everybody. I've invited Mike Vaughn, a really dear friend of mine, to do our program today. And I'm going to let him kind of introduce himself, and because I can't even remember what great big building he goes to or to see these falcons and take care of them. So, Mike, it's all yours.
Thank you.
And thank you for doing it.
Oh, my pleasure. It's something I'm very passionate about. I've always been a fan of birds of prey. I'm from Miller County, Missouri, out near Bagnell Dam, about a half hour east of Bagnell Dam. I've always been, if I saw a hawk, conservation was so bad in Missouri when I was young. We never saw deer. We saw dead possums. And to see a hawk was really something, it really hit me. So when I was able to realize that the eagles were migrating to Missouri, Illinois, back in, this was the early 80s when I found out about that. I eagle watch every year, Alton, Winfield, Clarksville. And I love that. So when 1985, I was building manager of One Bell Center, 909 Chestnut, downtown St. Louis, 43-story building. And I'm reading the paper, and Pet Milk, which is then located on South 4th Street, had, in conjunction with the World Bird Sanctuary, released 2 young peregrine falcons into the skies of St. Louis. I was so mesmerized by this. I followed it intently. And then I thought, well, I got a building bigger than that. Would this be conducive to falcon releasing? So I called Walter Crawford Jr. out at the World Bird. It was back then. It was called the Raptor Rehabilitation and Propagation Project. They changed their name to something a little more friendly, I think, the World Bird Sanctuary. And Walter was very interested. I invited him down to give a presentation to my group. He's in front of our group. There's about 10 of us. He's got a peregrine falcon on his arm and a box with 3 baby barn owls. We were just mesmerized. We loved it. So my boss gave me the thumbs up that I could seek approval to release these things from our roof. And it was a fight a little bit. Some people rejected it. Some people thought it was stupid. But still. And so in 1986, I'm getting this message that says my internet connection is unstable. So I hope you're following me okay. The World Bird Sanctuary put a huge box up on a 43rd floor balcony pointing northeast. The natural nesting habitat of a peregrine falcon is a bluff, a hole in a bluff on a river, on a water source. And the building is a homemade bluff. And we put a hole in there called a box. Pea gravel was what they just nest in rocks. And we released 3 that year. And then we released 3 or 4 every year until 1990. I put a nesting box outside a vice president's office so she could see. She was so passionate about it also. And we had the first nesting peregrines in over 110 years nest in Missouri. They've been extinct in Missouri for 110 years. That was a pretty big deal. Unfortunately, they weren't our releases. They were Anheuser-Busch releases, the 2 birds. We could see their bands through the window and get the numbers, so we knew they were Anheuser-Busch releases. And that kind of started it. Peregrines nest in the same place forever. They mate for life. But if something happens to one of them, which happens, then they go on. Or peregrine is Latin for wanderer. And they go on and do whatever, find another mate, another nest. And then other falcons have found it. We're on our 5th nesting pair now on the building. I don't know what I can say about them. They're the fastest animal in the world. They've been clocked at over 250 miles.
The only tenant? Are they the only tenants in the building?
Pardon?
Are they the only tenants in that building now? One bell.
What was the question?
Are they the only tenants?
Are they the only tenants in the building?
Actually, they really are the only tenants in the building. There's nobody in that building except 3 guards and a couple of Corrigan guys on upstairs. When I go down 3 or 4 times a year and check on them, see what the status is, give a report back to the World Bird Sanctuary. You might remember that Walter Crawford Jr. died a couple years ago in surgery. And I deal with Jeff Meshick now, who's the executive director of the sanctuary. So sometimes he comes down and we go up together, and sometimes we go to lunch. But it's just so much fun to see him. Let me show you one thing. This is a picture one of my buddies took when we were up there checking on him. Let's see here. Okay. Let's see if you can see this. Okay. I don't know if I can you see the falcon over here in the corner? That's One Bell Center, right? If I can hold this right here. Okay, let's see if I can get this going.
Wow.
Great having a job where I could go to the roof anytime I was there for fireworks. Okay. Here's another one. This is one I shot. She's protecting. There were babies up there, and she's flying towards the west. I'm shooting from at northeast, and the wind was so strong that she could just hover right there, and just move her wings a little bit, and she actually seemed like she was controlling the wind. This is the female. Female is the largest of the pair, very close to them. Hold it. I have. You think this would work for me, but nope. Okay. Hold. Now this is her box, her nest, and we had that's the front. There's a door in the back so we can take out the chicks and ban them once they have the chicks. I think I have There's some eggs. And well, this is this a video? This is pretty much fun. This is me checking on the chicks. Yeah, I think so. I want to peek in there this time. Okay. Here's the box. It's a lovely day out here. Again, this time too. I want you to see him diving at me. Hi. Give it a sec. My hands above. Male in the background there. Am I getting any of this? I am, if you're not. I see. Okay, you get the gist. What else? Here's just a nice one with the arch in the background. That's through glass, so it's not the best shot in the world. But oh, here's one, and you can see the chicks. Gives you a vantage point of what I was seeing. So it's just I don't know what to say about it. The falcons are no longer an endangered species because of involvement of Anheuser-Busch, Union Electric. All the electrical power plants in the Mississippi have nesting falcons now, and they were on the Chase Park Plaza. They were in the Centene building down in Clayton. There's a lot of falcons these days, which is cool. And they're usually pretty territorial, but I think we have 2 nesting pair in the downtown area, which is unusual, they say, but they seem to put up with each other. I had a window office on the 32nd floor, and I have seen a falcon and a kestrel fighting. And a little later, someone called and told me that there was a dead kestrel on Chestnut Street, and I went out and picked it up for the World Bird Sanctuary. So the peregrine won, kestrel 0. Any questions, guys? I don't know really where to take it from here.
What is the wingspan on the?
They say that when they stand up, the female is like a big crow, but their wingspan is I don't know, 3-4 feet. They're all wing, I'll tell you that. This, let's see if I can. I have notes that I didn't want to work from the notes because I kind of know this stuff, but there's so many details. Let me look at it real quick.
How long do they live?
Well, while we were releasing the birds into the environment, there's like from the time they're born, it's about 40 days before they can fly. So I mean, right after the eggs are hatched, they put them in this box. And World Bird Sanctuary every morning with a domestic quail, and she would feed the young birds these domestic quail. But she had a bird costume on, so they couldn't imprint on humans. It was kind of fun stuff. Yeah.
Like how long do they live?
How long do they live?
They live pretty long. I mean, I think they could be like 20, 30 years old. But and like I said, I mentioned earlier that peregrine is Latin for wanderer, and one of the birds that we banded, not one of the ones we released, but one of the ones that actually were hatched on the building, was photographed outside a office window in Brazil.
Wow.
They are wanderers. And but they are also territorial. They will come back to nest. Once they set up a nest, they'll hang around there their entire life.
What do they typically prey upon?
Pigeons is one of their main, what peregrines eat is mostly birds. And they strike them from a distance when I've seen a peregrine hit a pigeon looking down on it from the roof of the building, and it sounded like a 22 shot. Pow!
Wow.
I mean, coming at 250 miles an hour or whatever she was doing at that point in time, striking that bird, killing it on impact. And then the peregrine's different than regular hawks because it's beak. There's a little serration or something on the beak that you can just chop the head right off with their beak. So we've seen heads and wings all over the area. They learn to fly before they learn to land. And I've gotten calls. I had security at One Bell Center also, and they call the guards, and someone would call the guards from one of the restaurants or coffee shops around the city, and say, "Hey, we think we got a peregrine falcon out here in our flower box." So I had welders, the pipe fitters work for me also. So I would get the welder's gloves. I go down, I pick up the bird, pick it up back up to the nest, and put it back in. And sometimes it's tough for them. I've seen one bird trapped on a window at our 1010 Pine building, and he wouldn't fly. His parents would bring him food for a while and encourage him to fly. To fly, and it finally did, but it was there. I thought it was going to starve because they quit feeding it too. So it died. I'd have heard about it, but so I think it survived. There's a 60 to 80% mortality rate in young falcons from the time they learn to fly to the time they make it on their own. I think that's most birds of prey.
It's like with humans, yes.
Mike, are there any falcons out in Cook Station?
I wouldn't doubt it. I know some people have seen them in Miller County. So they send me pictures that say, "Is this a peregrine?" And I usually run it by World Bird Sanctuary, what things are. I have such a good relationship with Jeff out at the World Bird Sanctuary that anytime I see a bird, a falcon, we have Cooper's hawks. I didn't know what they were. Take a picture of it, send it to Jeff. He tells me what it is. And he tells me whether it's a juvenile or an adult. That's about all I got, guys, unless you got some questions.
No, thank you very much, Mike.
Great.
My pleasure, guys. My pleasure.
Thank you, Mike. It's really interesting. He's invited me to go
I
to.
love the project. I love being in the building. Did I take you up there, Carolyn?
No, you've asked me and said you were going to take me sometime, and we just never have done it. So I would like to do that sometime.
I'd like to take you up there. Maybe you could get you.
Thank you very, very much.
Okay, thank you, guys.
Have a good day.
You too.
Interesting. Thanks, Carolyn.
Thanks, Carolyn. That was great.
Something different.
Yeah. Meeting on top of the building.
Yeah. Yeah, that was neat when he worked up there, and they could go and watch the fireworks and everything from his office and stuff. It was pretty cool.
So we got Old Newsboys Day coming up. So that's the 18th. So we'll be planning on doing that weekend or that week. Usually it's Thursday.
Yeah.
Before Thanksgiving. Before Thanksgiving, that's right. Same place. Okay. And then
Instead of the
Same time, right? 7 and 9.
6:30 there. Yeah.
Do you have booster shot?
Boosters haven't been officially approved yet. They've been recommended by the advisory council committee. So yeah, FDA usually follows what they recommend. They probably will be approved. So yeah, starting next week.
What kind of dosage are you doing?
Well, based upon recommendations, which haven't been approved yet, we're talking about half of those, yeah. So that's
Talking about
the one.
65 and up and at risk.
Yes, right now, yeah.
I got mine Thursday at CVS out in Bristol.
Where?
CVS.
The Pfizer one,
You know,
Pfizer.
approved for what?
so,
Will you get the donut? Is that what you'll get?
yeah, and they are, you know, they're also going to, sound like, approve, mixing
Yeah.
the vaccine.
Is even numbered differently?
Yeah.
What, 4, 7, 6, whatever that.
Yeah, it comes a bunch. So, till everything's approved, you know, wait and see, but it sounds like that's gonna be the case.
How are they gonna, when the children get approved, they can be a school manual?
I don't know. I don't know if there's a school first, or you know, there's so much backlash sometimes from people that sometimes schools. Like, I don't know. What do you guys think?
We will probably offer a complaint. You participate or not, it probably will be.
The Florida White House detailed a lot of COVID vaccines for children aged 5 to 11.
It's just amazing. They have objection to this.
There is still much.
It's a lot of misinformation out there. And like, you know, I guess that's where you get your information.
I'm not sure that the jet stream complaint spread it.
No, that's a whole nother thing.
It may have been true, I don't know.
That, with the chemtrails, that's a whole nother issue. That's the pesticides that are being dropped that,
Start a booster club.
there we go.
I know we're looking at the hoodies project, so I don't know what the time frame was on that, but,
Reached out to the teacher last week and she said she's gonna get back to me. She hasn't yet. She said, one scenario where that particular teacher is studying at every open minute that she has, getting that break. Go in the classroom to the Marcus, she said she'd get back to me, just hasn't yet, but I believe she's working on it. I just don't get time.
but we're gonna do it like we did a couple years ago when we, basically we get the donation and still coordinate purchasing the hoodies and pushing that on it.
Yeah, I think she's already actually, made the purchase, like, did and start working on it, and the typical process is when they were, getting invoices after they're done.
Okay.
But I asked her if she wanted, the invoices in advance, and usually when you tell the supplier what they're doing, like last time, the supplier just sent extra boxes of leftover stuff, and they print on that too.
Perfect, okay.
So I wanted to mention, I know I'm stepping on Tom's toes here with polio, but I'm gonna do it anyway because he's such a great guy. I'll pay for it later. If you haven't seen the news, this is polio month, and I think Saturday,
24th.
whatever, 24th is World Polio Day. Afghanistan, the Taliban-led group in Afghanistan has agreed to allow the polio vaccinations to continue. And they are pushing it within their own group so that they believe that there will not be any issue with continuing the projects, the immunization days in Afghanistan.
Are we still at the 2 number?
We're still at 2, and both of those were back in January. One each, Pakistan and Afghanistan. It is possible.
So they're gonna vaccinate 400 million kids a year.
Yep.
My record had around 400 million.
And the way it works is if they go a year, which will be January 22, then they will be put on the wait list. Either or both. they have to go 3 years without any more endemic cases. I'm sorry, wild polio cases. Endemic would be somebody flew from A to B and brought it with them, and it was transmitted that way. This will be, you had no wild polio as it just showed up. Once they go to 3 years, they are declared polio free. And those are the
Do
last.
they do
2
the
countries.
whole country or a region?
The whole country. They did Africa by country and then declared the continent. This past year, I think, wasn't it? Something like that. Africa was, I mean, Niger. I always get them confused. Whichever country it was that was last was a few years back, but Africa was declared last year, I think, last month.
At least a year ago.
Yeah,
And if you've seen a map of Africa with the silhouette, the outline of the United States, Canada, and many other countries, you get an idea of how big Africa is. And kind of Africa is just a little bit bigger than the US. It's bigger than US, Canada.
Australia, I mean, it's pretty much all the other continents combined
Rolled into
fit
one.
into Africa, which is really interesting.
Rotary polio director, Anthony Carroll,
Panda?
Panic, yeah, we're talking the other day.
No, I did not see it, but I've read parts of the transcript. So it is, we are down to 2 cases. It is possible. And it's going to be interesting to see how this works.
Just another comment, I watch Rotary Club One's meeting about every week, and the current president of Rotary Club One is John Hugo's wife, Margaret. And she's doing a great job, but she had a lot of comments about polio yesterday. I happened to mention she's been riding the ride that polio that I've been doing for years. About a month from today, actually. Taking polio almost every meeting. So. They had the Rotary polio care. Lady in charge.
Caroline, just a quick question. How, without us using microphone, how well can you hear us?
I can hear really good today.
Okay, all right. Just curious on the Zoom, how well people can hear on that end.
Yeah, it's pretty good today, better than it has been.
Can you hear from the back table?
I hear you. Are you at the back table?
Yeah, we didn't specify.
Way back table.
No, nobody wanted to sit with him today. What can we say?
Hmm.
The only other thing is we're still waiting on the post to be delivered, is that right? So hopefully they'll come in very soon. So I guess we have a drawing. 4 tickets.
Is enough, that's almost 300. The stack checks was.
The last meeting.
The stack that had the checks on it, with the fine and happy bucks, the rest of it were the tickets. Maybe, I'm sorry. There were 2 stacks of money, one underneath. The sign. Oh, they're together now. Never mind. Okay.
Bobby, you want to pull a ticket out of that for us?
Yeah,
I don't. What number did you pick?
Well, you tore it off. And can't see it.
Yeah, you tore it off.
And a mail.
7-2. 9-7.
711.
7-1?
971.
Wait. Vacation money, here we go.
Boy, that is a positive attitude.
Well, what, since someone won.
Do you ever take a vacation without your bike?
No.
Didn't Jerry just win recently?
Ruth did.
Yeah, vacation.
Ruth
Oh,
won the
Ruth
whole weeks ago and then disappeared for a while.
What's it up to now, do you know?
$10.
Oh, it's, let's see. 20 something.
I know, man.
You can buy a couple of Starbucks now.
No, that's,
Oh, speaking of Starbucks, a few years ago, David City, my Edward Jones guy, suggested I put some land where Starbucks is. I don't drink Starbucks, but I smile every time I drive by, I see the car is behind them. Is that Jay for Joker? Is that Jay?
Yeah, sure. Yeah, right.
All right.
Anybody else have anything for the other club? Yeah, I did.